to Simpler. We are three pastors, husbands, and fathers on a journey to make life simpler by holding Jesus as the core for every belief and practice. This journey has shaped us to be more like Christ, freed us from the shame of failure, and encouraged us to a deeper love of our Lord and God. We invite you to join us in the discussions that have shaped and continue to shape our lives.
That would be greater than the day that you hit the jackpot on the
yes,
on the, what is it?
On the
video
poker.
Video poker. The day you walked up to me and just like opened up your wallet. And
I was like, that was super exciting.
Oh, then Ryan hit one too this year. I forgot.
This past December.
It's your turn, man.
No.
That was fun, man.
It is fun.
That was
hey. Yeah.
$1,000.
You just sit there and you watch it climb.
That was fun for me because I was done.
Yeah.
Until you were like, hey.
Yeah. Hey, here's $50. Yeah.
Which I then proceeded to turn into 800 and something.
Oh, yeah.
I know. You had a great run.
I even paid you back.
Yeah. Like it was like one of your best years ever, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, best like hours. Like the whole.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that's crazy to have that kind of.
And then poor Ryan, you're just like bleeding the whole time sitting next to you. I'm just like racking it up, and you're just like bleeding.
Yeah. Well, and I still ended up up.
Yeah,
over the whole trip, but yeah.
Yeah, me too.
But the $1,000 that I won, I was 400 or 500 in the hole already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it put me up 500, and then I left up 300. So I ended up losing another 200. But it would be nice to. It would be nice to like, be up and then win the $1,000.
Yeah,
but
sure.
I still came back richer than I went. So
Sure.
that was fun.
That is fun.
I just don't like spending money on
Yeah.
It's changed through the years. Like I know you don't spend money on really anything.
Mm-mm.
Like, so that it's like, this is just fun for you.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't bring, I'm like, you know how many pairs of shoes for me that is like.
Well, I save all of my allowance and just, use it for Michelle's birthday or use it for take the boys on their trips or whatever. But like, yeah, I try not to spend my money. There's really not anything I want. I usually want another book, but
we have a book fund for you.
Yeah. But now I have that paid for. And so it's like,
yeah.
So I'm good. But I'm buying. So we went for the week of 4th of July. We went to Seguin to see my mom and her husband, Greg. And I bought one of those 6 foot by 12 foot floating mats.
Oh yeah.
You know?
The big ones.
Yeah. So that the kids could enjoy that.
It's
and
pretty fun.
That for me, it was like,
it's a good use of your money.
Yeah. Like with the anchor ropes and everything, it was $200.
Yeah.
And like, there's a little part of me that's like, oof, that's $200, but so much fun.
Yeah.
I mean, on a trip like that, $200 could be like you guys go to dinner.
Yeah. So it was fun.
And something you can keep using.
Yeah.
Are you just going to leave it there?
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't even ship it to my house because I didn't want to have to drive it there. I shipped it to her house when I bought it on Amazon.
What about your pants?
Did I ship my pants?
You said it. Got him. This is Fifth Tuesday, everybody. Welcome.
He didn't get me. I knew the commercial.
No, he got you, man.
I'm familiar
Don't
with
backtrack
the
now.
commercial.
It was you shipped it to the place where they have the big gas savings.
Yeah, that's right.
What makes me really sad is that a month before the 4th of July, I saw this stupid ad pop up on Facebook, and it was American flag overall shorts.
Did you get some?
I ordered some for me and the boys.
Yes.
Got him.
I was like, we're totally rocking these at the 4th of July. And they didn't come in time. I ordered them a month ahead.
It's because they came from China.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah. So did you just get an American flag and just wrap it around your waist?
No, I didn't have anything, so I had to go nude.
There you go. That's the only logical answer, right?
What I had to do was apply the sunscreen in such a way
That's
and
right.
get a sunburn that it made the American flag on my body.
I am the Stars and Stripes.
That's awesome.
Well, with that mental image in your head, welcome to Fifth Tuesday, everybody. So whenever there's a Fifth Tuesday in the month, what we do is we approach a topic or a discussion that we haven't really discussed before or settled on a simpler view or anything like that. And so welcome to the conversation. The reason why we started doing this was to help. I mean, obviously so much of Simpler is inviting you guys in to watch and listen to conversations that we have and just be a part of the community and asking questions and be a part of the community and asking questions. But with these Tuesdays, we intentionally pick something that we haven't discussed to kind of make it more raw, more real, more thinking for us to go through. So, Ryan, what is our topic today on this 5th Tuesday?
Well, Micah, what is our topic today?
So I listened to a podcast recently. Jordan Peterson had a guy named Sam Harris on, who I think is a pretty renowned atheist, but they were like both intellectuals. I know Jordan was a college professor. I can't remember if Sam Harris was too. Anyways, he's kind of been around. Sam Harris has been around for a while in that intellectual circle, but they weren't talking about religion or politics. They were actually talking about, from a psychological perspective, the impact of short videos now, like shorts on social media, and how it seems to be intended to, in a nefarious way, intended to shape us as a people in a way where our attention span's so short that it is we're more controllable, more influenced, and it kind of made me rethink how I'm intaking information, and I feel like I'm pretty cautious, anyways. Like I'm incredibly, I don't know, cynical is probably the wrong word. I'm like,
might be the wrong word for you. It's a perfect word for me.
Okay, I'm more like, because I don't feel like I just approach everything with a negative perspective. I'm more like, I want consistency.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to hear what you say, but if there's a hole.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to blow that hole up and make it big. It's like Trump did in Iran. So I'm just going to make it big. Side note, I saw someone say that Trump's building a golf course in Iran. He just did the first 3 holes. So bad. Anyways, there's a bunch of golf stuff. I think it's because, anyways, whatever. So, but Sam Harris was telling a story to Jordan Peterson about how before even Elon bought Twitter, that he got off of Twitter. And he said partly because it was a place where he said he realized he was spending so much of his time and energy responding to people's comments on his posts. And it was like, he said, I was like on vacation with my wife and kids and realized like I'm upset all day because I'm having to like have this back and forth conversation with people. And I would say we could talk about this as well as like a side part of this conversation. I don't particularly think that's healthy. This is my opinion. No. I don't even like text conversations like that, because I think if you can't have a conversation face to face, you're missing a lot of things in the conversation. What everybody assumes I'm pissed at them when I text. Yeah. And I know it. Like I'm not, and that's not my intention.
To be fair, people think that when you're talking to them face to face too.
I was gonna say, like, it's probably reflective of the case. Yeah. So Cammy's always like, you just got to use some like emojis or something.
The rest of us would say that when you're face to face, you can see people's facial expressions and their eyes and their body language, and go, "Oh, okay, you're not mad at me." But with you, you're so intense.
No wonder people text me.
They're like, oh crap.
That's why they text it. Yeah. So, but like, I've done it before. I did one Facebook campaign back in the day with like a preaching clip, and like my emotions, and the deal was Matt Johnson was like, I'm going to pay for this, but you have to respond to every comment because it does something to the algorithm. And dude, so responding to these people's comments, like, I'm like infuriated all day long. So I don't think that's healthy. No. We can talk about that in a second, side note. But anyways, the second thing he said was he was using Twitter as a news source, which is I think a pretty fun, exciting news source because it's not filtered. It's like the Wild West. So you get the info and then you do what you want to do with the info. He said, but he realized one day, as in his own mind, he's curating the information. Like I'm searching news sources. So it's like in his mind, he's building an algorithm to give him the news stuff that he wants to see. He said, but then I realized that I would see a post about this news thing I'm interested in. And then as I'm scrolling to the next post, I see all this other stuff that I realized it was intentionally making me think a certain way. He's like, so I'm scrolling from post to post and realize I see like a bunch of people robbing a convenience store, a bunch of people getting beat up in the street, or all these other things. And he goes, I realized that it's those in-between things were affecting the way that I think. And he recognized it. And so he's like, I just got off because I realized that as much of a benefit as it was to have a news source like that, he goes, it was more of a detriment in the middle to have all those other things. So I thought, okay, I'm So I just deleted it too, because that's what I was doing. It's like news. I'm like, this is probably not worth it to have all the other stuff coming in. But so that's, I think, one topic we can talk about is that the health of that. And then the other one is the short videos, like the intentionality of that being nefarious to like make us more controllable.
Talk about that more.
Here's my opinion. I think that you're gonna see most of that influence happen in kids. Or we'll just say younger people in general. I think that boys' brains don't finish developing, I feel like, until they're like 28 or something like that. Yeah, something crazy, right?
I'm still working on mine.
So like if I don't Grayson, my soon to be 8th grader, he doesn't have, well, he has YouTube, so he watches YouTube shorts, but he doesn't have Instagram, doesn't have any of the other social media platforms. And it's hitting me like, oh crap, I'm not sure what he's thinking watching these YouTube shorts. So I think you're going to see a generation of kids grow up watching these short videos, and now their attention span's real small. Now they're looking for, they were talking about this, like how the dopamine hit works with those short videos. It's almost like you're trained to get that hit. It's probably similar, maybe not quite as intense, but similar to what they've seen in porn lately. Sorry, not seen in porn lately, but like in the
porn consumption.
That actually, I think it was Jordan Peterson talking about. It makes me sound like I listen to Jordan Peterson all the time, and I don't. It's been like it's like 2 episodes, but they've noticed that there's been some erectile dysfunction in men because of porn. One, which makes sense because you're
training it.
Yeah, and then second, they've said there's been less kids being born in younger people because people are having sex less because
porn's satisfying,
right? So it's probably like maybe a similar thought without the sex stuff, is that you are trained to think a certain way, and it may be influencing you in a way that you don't realize. So here's what's been hitting me lately. Like, why is it that when I have a break in life, anything, like I stop at a stoplight, or I am waiting in line at the drive-through, why is my instinct to turn my phone on? Does anybody, I mean, do you guys question that? You know, so isn't that funny how like I'm aware of it and I'm like drawn towards the phone? At what point are we going to go, somebody's doing this to us on purpose?
Yeah, that it's a dependency. Yeah. And they're not only putting in front of you what ultimately they want to put in front of you, but they're mining where you go. They're mining, like, this isn't like paranoia. My phone will now, the places, every Friday when I get in my car, it says, 20 minutes to Cold Smoke, because that's where I do Bible study every Friday, right? And it'll tell me on Thursday mornings, you're 22 minutes from your studio.
It knows you.
It knows where I'm going, right? It knows what I'm shopping for. So like the things that I've purchased for the 4th of July or whatever, like you start getting those ads.
All of Ryan's stuff now is
American flag overall. So you joke, but after I bought those, I got like 20 different ads, and there were probably 15 different companies, but all selling those kinds of overalls, because they're like, oh, we got them, you know. They did. but it was one of those things. I sent the picture of it to my boys. I was like, check these out, and they're like, those are hilarious. And it was kind of a thing like I wanted to, for us, you know, like, because we wanted to come out. I was so bummed that we didn't get to like do our, like, hey, here we are, 4th of July, right?
That's when y'all came out.
Shut up. But there's, like, you're shopping, it doesn't matter, man. Like, it's, if you scan something with your phone, if I'm entering in, I do this, I keep track of my calories, keep track of what I'm eating. So when I'm entering in specific foods, you know, I buy this chicken from HEB, and it's like, it pops up now. There's ads that, so it's I do think ultimately, like, look, I think we would be foolish. I don't think it's naivety. I think it's foolishness or stupidity to imagine that the dollar, that money isn't people's priority, like in business, right? And so if they can monetize the ad space, if they can monetize the phone, if they can track where you're going, they want to like you're a puppet. You're just a rat in a maze for them, and they're manipulating you to the cheese.
I think that's a good point, though, that it is about spending.
Yeah.
Like, has anybody ever? I wonder if people ever wonder why we can spend on our phone now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's intentional,
easy.
right?
Yeah.
It's if you can cross the barrier of like, or get people past the barrier of, like, not spending more than they have. That's an easy way to do it. I think that cards were the first barrier to cross with that, using debit cards and credit cards, and now it's now it's phone. Like you don't even look, right? So I think it is all intentional, and I think it is control. I think that's actually ultimately what it is, but I think it is probably inspired by the monetary gain from it. But I do think it's a control issue, because wealthy people, like the super, super wealthy people, they're not concerned about money.
No.
Their money's going to make as much money as they want to make. So, so what's the next thing? It's power. It's control.
Oh yeah. And I mean, I think that those two go hand in hand a lot, because money, the person who has the money, right?
Yes.
And
that's always been the case.
Yeah. And so it's one of these things where people's attention spans are shorter. Like we've talked about this before, just in passing, but over the last 15 years at seminaries and stuff, we've had friends who have said that they've been taught, well, you can't preach longer than 15 minutes because people can't. And this is prior to the iPhone, and then now you have the iPhone, people's attention spans are even shorter. And like, it's hard to imagine sitting down and reading the Bible. It's hard to imagine being able to sit down and, hey, here's a 3-page paper on this biblical topic, or here's a 5-minute video. Now people go, oh, 5 minutes.
Too much, right?
Golly, that's,
or even backing up from there, just sitting.
Yeah.
Like,
and
where does that go? Like, you
being passive,
just sit. Like, like, do people still do that? Like, sit like on a bench somewhere in your backyard or something, and just look, or go to the beach and just like. No, you see people at the beach on their freaking phones.
I know, they're crazy.
Yeah.
I was at a doctor's appointment recently, and it was a situation where I just sat down and I was thinking about something. And no, I was just sitting like this, and I was just sitting, and then I realized, I'm the weirdo in the room, because
everybody else.
I was just sitting there, and then like, it's funny because you're right, everybody's on their phone, but it's like, it's watching the different like reactions. There's some people that are like, they see somebody else walking in, they're like avoiding eye contact. Then there was 2 old people that were sharing pictures, but they couldn't get it far away enough to look at the picture.
That was right.
But it was weird because like I was the weirdo in the room now, because I'm just sitting there with nothing in my hand, and then I felt like the social impulsion, which I think is another part of it, of like, I got to get something. I got to do something. Right? And then I was like, no, I'll just sit here. I'll just keep thinking about what I'm thinking about.
You think that's social, or you think that's just like ingrained from the use of devices?
That could have been it too. Maybe in that moment I was reminded by seeing all them on their devices, like, oh, I have a device too. And
that's what it seems more like to me. My thought is like, that is like, if I'm a Dr. Pepper addict and I sit down in a room and everybody starts drinking Dr. Pepper, I don't really feel a social like obligation to drink.
True.
It's probably more so like, dude,
you get Dr. Pepper?
That's a Dr. Pepper.
I want Dr. Pepper. Yeah.
Doesn't that seem more likely?
That absolutely seems more likely. Yeah.
I mean, I know there's some psychology to the like group thing where they have done those tests for like in like the lobby of a dentist office, they play a beep and then everybody stands, and there's one person who's not involved in, like, he doesn't know, and they start standing, that kind of stuff. But it seems to me like it feels to me like an addiction we're not addressing.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And what is it? Here's where I think it makes it is an important conversation for us as believers. What is it that is actually affecting our minds? Like, what's driving the way that we think? If let's just say that Jordan Peterson and Sam Harris actually came to me and said, Micah, here's the evidence that if you are engaging in this kind of social media interaction with these kind of videos, that this is what it's doing to your brain. Like, it is negatively affecting your brain to think this way.
Yeah.
And I saw, as a result of that, my life, like my character, I'm not a great person, or like I actually am pissed at people all the time. You know what I mean? Like something that, what if it changes me? And I was presented with this reality.
Yeah.
Am I so bent on and addicted to and dependent on that thing that I'm like, it doesn't matter, I'm still going to engage in it? Or do I move away and go, I would rather my mind be affected by something that is not that stuff. I'd rather my mind be driven by Jesus. I'd rather be, and I'm not saying that engaging in social media means that your mind's not driven by Jesus. I'm just saying, like, what if that's the case? Like, what if what if someone said this is actually negatively influencing you, but we're going to keep doing it? You know what I mean? And I know that there's some wisdom in this. I don't think this is a moral issue.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not talking about watching bad stuff on social media. I'm just talking about. Right. I don't feel like
social media in general.
Right. This isn't a moral issue, and to me, it's similar. It's similar to the conversation of like eating.
Yeah.
If someone said like, hey, this food is causing this effect on your body, how addicted are you to that food? Where you're going to say like, I'm going to keep eating. I feel like it's a similar conversation.
Yeah, which people still continue to eat the food.
Right. Which is why I say it's a wisdom thing, not a moral thing.
Yeah. They did a couple of weeks ago, a study came out from MIT, and it's already kind of going everywhere, and there's already people like saying it's wrong or whatever. But MIT took a group of people using Chat GPT and had them write 3 essays using Chat GPT, and then had another group of people who used who just wrote it on their own, no internet, no technology, and then a group that used a little bit of both. And so what they did is they had everybody write 3 essays. The people who were using their brain, so it's brain or Chat GPT, crap, chat is all I'm going to say from now on because I'm going to get it wrong.
It's fine.
The AI. Okay. So the group who used their brains rather than the AI, their essays improved over those 3. And the people who use the AI, it's indistinguishable, right? Yeah. But then they had them write a 4th essay. And the 4th essay, they switched. So the people who had been using the brain had to write their 4th essay with AI, and the people who had been using AI had to write the 4th essay with their brain. And the people who had done AI 3 times and then wrote the essay, their first essay, their last essay, the first one they actually wrote, was worse than the first essay of the people who had done it by brains. Yeah. And it was also saying that the first 3 essays, which makes complete sense. This isn't a big, tricky thing that you're going to be like, oh, I didn't see that coming. But the people who used AI were less invested in their work because they didn't care as much about it. Yeah. They couldn't remember exactly what order the papers they had written came in. They were like, I think that was the first one, but I don't really know. Whereas the people who used the brain knew, oh, that was my first paper. Oh, that was my second paper. That was my third paper. Yeah. And then the people who used AI couldn't remember quotes that came from their paper, couldn't remember different things. And so like just less invested mentally. And because you're less invested mentally, you get to shut off, right? Yeah. Like we have people all the time that are like, man, I just want to go home. I just want to shut out the day and just sit in front of the TV and binge a show. And I think downtime's important. I think it's like food. It's not moral. It's wisdom. There has to be a time though that you shut off the TV. There has to be a time you quit shoving that food into your mouth, right? Like it's just a wisdom thing.
You've already eaten 1 gallon of ice cream. 2 is probably too much.
But like honestly, like even a gallon. Let's no, but let's use that. There might be a time in your life that go for it. Eat the gallon of ice cream.
Sure.
Yeah.
If you're doing that every day, it's going to cause problems. Yeah. If you're dependent upon the short content every day, if it becomes like you said earlier, Micah, kind of this dopamine hit, where if I'm not entertained, and so you see all these Instagram reels now where they say if I don't have you in 3 seconds, you're not, you're not sticking around, right? And so like that's what we've gotten to is people are checking out in 3 seconds, which makes it way harder to sit down and have a conversation with somebody. It makes it way more difficult to, I think, be a church attender. I think it probably makes it way more difficult to be a worshiper because how long has this song gone on? Is this a 5-minute song? Like, can you imagine if you got up one Sunday morning and you did 20, 30-second songs. So we had 10 minutes of worship, but you're like, just 30 seconds because, hey, we want to move on to the next thing. We want to move on to the next thing. But, and I don't know how long I preached in the second service yesterday, but it was pretty long, probably close to 40 minutes. And so like we've lost the ability to, I don't think this is true across the board. We are losing the ability to engage. We're losing the ability to be interested. It makes
I don't think it's ability. I think we're losing like the tolerance for it.
Okay.
Because it's not the ability's gone. You know what I mean? It's like, like if you, I played soccer. I'm not going to be able to be in that kind of shape again. But the reason I can't run like I ran in soccer is because I'm it's not because I don't have the ability. It's because I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I think training is and conditioning. That's the biggest issue. We're conditioning people that entertainment comes from an algorithm. It comes how you curate it, and it comes in 30-second formats.
Yeah.
And so, therefore, when I go somewhere that is quote unquote for entertainment value, somebody's on the stage or whatever that looks like, may it be a lecture, a sermon, whatever. I'm anticipating. I've been trained that this should last 30 seconds. Why is it lasting so much longer?
Yeah.
So we're conditioned to believe a certain thing about it. I think taking ownership which just kind of goes back a little bit. I know this is kind of backtracking for a second, but I think it goes back to with the episode where we asked, are people dumber? I think the taking ownership thing is a massive aspect of the conversation as well, because you can make everything so passive. Like I saw somebody recently talk about, they were like, I don't want AI to keep taking art and expression away from us. I want AI to do the dishes for me. Like I want to be able to like have the time to write and to read and to do all these things. And I'd rather robots do all the chores.
Which it can. I think it's what people like. The conversation often goes to like in the essay section, well, we should just get rid of AI. Well, no, there's some really great benefits of AI.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
So it's in my mind, it's kind of like the conversation about smoke and lights and worship. It's not the smoke and lights fault that some people use it badly.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
We don't get, we have stage lights.
Yeah.
Like it would look worse without stage lights, and people probably don't recognize it.
Exactly.
So I think it's a good point. It's ownership, because then it's like, I'm not sitting on the couch eating a gallon of ice cream being like, I hate that all these people are real fit.
Exactly right.
All these social media influencers, all these real fit people are just trying to make me feel bad. No,
exactly.
You're making yourself feel bad sitting on the couch with a gallon of ice cream.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that sounds amazing.
And even the three people that you said, like they wrote the essays themselves, right? Like if they had AI as a tool, like being able to utilize it as compiling their resources, writing out their bibliographies, like whatever it might be. Even some people, what they'll do is they'll tell AI like, hey, this is what my schedule looks like this week. Give me a study schedule. Sure. And it'll like pump out like, hey, study from this is the most opportune times for you to rest, for you to study, for you to do this. And that way they're not having to worry about those things. Yeah. And so they're thinking, I got to get these essays done. Let me use this as a resource to compile my, what I'm writing about, to compile my schedule, to do all these things. And so exactly what you're saying, Micah, that we can utilize it as a resource without it taking over how we think.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, people used to dig ditches by hand.
Exactly.
And now you have machines that dig them for you.
Every single advancement, right, has a good side and a bad side. Yeah. Every single one.
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like this is whoever's, well, I know who's behind the scenes, but whoever's behind the scenes, I think I know.
The devil.
Actually, that's fair. That's fair.
I thought that's what you were going to say.
Well, no, I was going to say, I think I know the people he's using.
Yeah,
but
bankers.
The group of people. Yeah, for sure, those guys. Not all the bankers. I'm just saying like a specific. But if this feels different than like someone who used to till their fields with like by hand or with horses and mules and stuff, oxen, and now they have tractors. This feels different to me because it is, it's brain.
Yeah.
It's affecting your brain.
Yeah. And you don't see a lot of evil tractors.
I haven't, but I mean, I'm open.
But you do see some.
Yeah.
I bet AI could create some videos. Yeah. Okay, that's another point too. Is like I keep hearing people talk about. They'll tell me like, "Oh, I saw this video," and now I'm like, "How do you know if that was real?" Like, okay, here's one I saw the other day that I was like, I know this is fake, but this looks so good. There was a girl, you guys may have seen this, a girl in the ocean next to a boat, like in the water, and there's like a young great white shark like cuddling up to her face. And I'm like, no, but it looked really good. And I read the caption, this is on Instagram, and it gives us a long story about how she spent thousands of hours when it was like a juvenile, like just a baby. But you're like, I know this is fake, but this looks so real. And I showed it to Aiden, my son Aiden, and he was like, he's like, oh, there's some things you can use to see. And he was like, watch her hand. When her hand moves off the shark, it like turns into a blob. Yeah. He's like, there you go. That's so like, there's some, but like, I can see how people, Ryan, like in your generation, I'm joking. But I mean, being serious, right?
No, you're not wrong. We'll just a couple years older than me.
We'll take that and go, can you guys believe that this is going on? And we're like,
it's not.
I'm like, it's not.
No,
right?
I don't believe it.
So I don't think this is a young people thing. I think that
100%.
I think the influence we're going to see a generation who's grown up in this. That's what I mean by I think this is influencing our young people. But I think that the older people. Let me give you a great example. That's not even AI. You guys probably know this, but you know the whole Russiagate thing was proven to be a hoax, right?
Yes, I've heard a little bit about
Like there's, it's not a debatable fact at this point. Like it's shown like this was not true, and they used that through social media to influence the election. The election before last, right?
Yeah, 2020.
To this day, there are still people, and I've had conversations with them, who will tell me, no, that was for real.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, it doesn't matter what information they're given. That's what I meant earlier about, like, if someone told you this is like bad and you're like so committed to it, you know, like I've been wondering, like, what would it look like if a family took a vacation and said no devices for a week? Like, how hard would that be? Not just for the kids, but for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because I'm just trying to prove a point. I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just trying to prove a point. Like, are we so addicted to this thing that is intentionally making us think a certain way that we? I'm not trying to say get rid of devices. I'm not trying to say get rid of social media. I think I'm just making the point that I think people are going into this blind and not realizing what it's actually doing.
There's Hannah and I share parenting things back and forth that we see online, and what's funny now is my algorithm is curated towards that. I get a lot of silly dad videos, and every now and then like do this in the situation. But one of the things that this one woman posted about, she said, we've gotten to the point where we're just gonna do either longer form. Okay, if we're ever doing videos, we're gonna do like longer form content or like 90s cartoons. Because she said like the saturation's turned way down low, the camera cuts aren't as quick. And so you think about like CoComelon now, the camera cuts, I think they have like, there was somebody that broke down everything mathematically, and the camera cuts are nuts. Like they're just going from one thing to the other to the other to the other.
Yeah, like
saturation's
turned up a couple of seconds.
Exactly, saturation's turned up all the way.
Interesting.
The dialogue,
same freaking idea as
same
short
concept. But what's funny is it's the exact same concept, but they need to make them like an hour long so that parents can set their kids down in front of it and the parents can walk away. So it's like a whole
bunch of short videos.
Oh, absolutely. And so there's been people that have been catching on to it, and they're saying, okay, we're like none of this, which we cut it out. I noticed it when Riley was real young, and I was like, let's not even remotely mess with any of this. And then I've started to see more of these things that talking about how it's training viewers, right? It's the same thing. It's the same like psychological thing people talk about with arcades and casinos and those types of things. You're training your perspective of entertainment.
Well, yeah,
but even deeper than that. Now
scene change every 1 to 3 seconds for CoComelon.
And there are other people that see how CoComelon's making billions of dollars. Okay, cool. Now I implement this. Kind of what you were saying earlier, Ryan, of like how there are some people that aren't even necessarily pulling the strings, that are just seeing how much money these things are making. And they're saying, cool, I'm going to keep doing it and perpetuating this idea. And now we're seeing people uprising like, okay, I'm just going to go to the pawn shop, buy DVDs of old shows that I used to watch or whatever. That like,
it's not a terrible idea.
That like,
maybe not the DVD thing.
They don't actually, people, this is where I am cynical. I don't think that the people who hold the money bag, I'm thinking of Judas, but I'm making an analogy. I don't think that they actually care about the humans. No. I don't think they actually care about their audience.
As people.
They only care about them as a means by which they can line their pockets.
Yes,
as a means.
It is that book I just listened to, The Creature from Jekyll Island. He makes a case that it is a form of indentured servitude.
Absolutely.
And a very comfortable form of indentured servitude. But it's exactly what you're saying. They don't care about the people as individuals. They care about the people as a means to get whatever they want.
So there are people who, like pharmaceutical companies, that they don't care about the side effects. They care that this drug is going to be available and that people are going to need it. I think I told you guys about a commercial that when Riker and I were in Colorado kept coming up. We were watching a Marvel movie one night, and every commercial break it was get your kids, because the commercial is intentional. You're watching a Marvel movie, so it's talking about your kids, your younger people, and it says get them the meningitis vaccine. And it said because meningitis kills 1 in 10 kids that get it. And they even say there's a line in there that says, though rare, 1 in 10 kids who contract meningitis die. And what's funny is, I think I told you guys that 3 out of 100,000 people in their lives will contract this kind of meningitis that will kill them. 3 out of 100,000.
Wow.
And then 1 out of those 10
So what are we looking at percentage?
will die. It was 0.00003% chance of dying from that meningitis. And yet what people hear is there's a 10% chance of dying.
Yes.
And so that's what people hear.
Right.
And they go, oh man, 1 in 10 kids, and they're not paying attention to the statistics.
Right.
They're not paying attention
Right.
to the math. And
that's why they told you to go inside during COVID.
right.
Like, or you could just go outside.
Yeah.
If the sun kills it.
Yep.
Vitamin C kills it.
Yeah.
Vitamin D kills it.
Yeah.
Like, go outside. No. Don't go outside. Stay in your house.
Yeah.
Like, that was for me. That was the trigger where I was like, wait a minute. Something's going on here.
To your point about Russiagate, like a lot of the stuff that they said about COVID, they've backpedaled on, and they're like, oh yeah, we were wrong. And
No. It's been proven that way, but they're not back. Like, those people are not, like,
the people who made the wild claims aren't backing down, but the evidence is showing contrary.
Evidence is showing contrary. But you will still ask people today, guarantee it, who will say something like, for example, I've done way too deep of a dive into the COVID thing, but like, you know about long COVID? Have you ever heard that term? They don't have any evidence of long COVID with people who aren't vaccinated or don't have the COVID shot.
Yeah. Interesting.
So instead of calling it vaccine injury or shot injury, they call it long COVID. But there's no examples, as far as I know, of people who didn't get the shot that have the symptoms. So like, they're not backing off. Well, they're perpetuating the narrative in a different spin. It's like the Cocomelon thing is a great point. Like, okay, maybe they realize people are waking up to the reality of the shorts. So what do? We take the kids' cartoons and we make them
3-second shorts.
Right.
All pushed together.
It's intentional. It's I know this is a little more of a conspiracy thing, but like, if the blue light really is intended to be that, like, now it's, you can't, what do? They outlaw you being able to buy incandescent bulbs. You can only buy blue light. So why? Right. Well, it's because it's less energy. That's not actually necessarily the case. Or they'll say fires, but like,
I grew up with light bulbs my whole life that have never bursted into flames.
There's a 0.0000003 chance that your incandescent bulb will cause a fire in your house. Which,
and it's just control. It's wanting to, and I think too many. I'm not going to pick on the world as a whole, but I'm going to say I think too many Christians allow themselves to just get overwhelmed with fear and anxiety. Like, there's a higher level of anxiety now in people than there ever has been. There's a higher level of fear now in people than ever has been.
I'm sure that's why, right? So why, if you're someone that feels anxiety, why would you keep diving into the thing that's causing anxiety?
And but we're taught that those aren't the things that are impacting it, right? Like, so now, you have a lot of anxiety. Have you ever started to, like, watch these reels, watch this stuff, watch these guys, watch this? You know what I mean? Like, and it's crazy because we I don't know. I'll be a full-blown conspiracy theorist probably by the time I'm 55, if I'm not earlier. But like, I just think I was watching a video the other day of a guy that was saying that every school shooting that has happened in the United States in the last 20 years, every single one of them, the individual who did the school shooting has either been on anti-depression meds or anti-anxiety meds. Every single one of them. There's not a single case where a kid went in and shot at the school that's not the case. And he says that what people don't pay attention to is the side effects. One of the side effects listed in every one of these anti-anxiety medicines and anti-depression medicines, every single one of them has a side effect that says could increase suicidal thoughts and harm to self or others. Every single one of them has that as a side effect. And you go, oh, look, the problem is guns. And you're like, when are we going to go, man, maybe the problem is what we've done to our kids and the way we're over-medicating our kids and that we're not treating the problem of the heart. You know, like something else is going on.
Well, there's so much in the scripture about the mind.
Yep.
And I don't hear a lot of Christians talking about that. It's like they want to be spoon-fed. It's back to the training thing, Pierce, you mentioned earlier. Like, it's like I don't hear a lot of people saying, I want to be strong in my mind.
Right.
But I think you could say, I'm going to set my mind on Jesus, or as Paul says, set my mind on things above.
Right.
That's one thing to say. It's a whole other thing to do it.
Yeah.
That's like when someone's like, I'm going to work out this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything.
No.
Are you working out? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I think that's what it feels like to me. That's why I wanted to like spin it to believers is how do we expect to be a great example of the gospel if our minds are weak?
Yeah.
And I don't mean not smart or not intelligent. I mean, like, the most intelligent people in the world can be influenced in the same way by something that will make your mind weak,
Yeah.
easily controlled, easily shaken. I think a great example of what you're talking about with anxiety is when I hear Christians talk about the wars, they're always talking about, oh my gosh, the Antichrist is going to come.
Yeah.
And I always want to be like, yeah,
At
it's
some
in the
point,
Bible.
Yeah.
Like, I will never be for the one world government.
People just don't want it to be in their lifetime.
That's what it. Okay, I was having this conversation with Dusty a while back, but I think that's what it is. Like, I'm not for the one world government.
Yeah.
Practically, it's not.
People go, oh, I want Jesus to come back, but they're so fearful, which means they don't have a correct perspective of Christ.
Okay, so here's
they
what
don't want it to happen in their
Here's
lifetime.
what I told Dusty. I don't think it's people. I think it's specifically Western Christians.
Yeah.
Other Christians in the world are already suffering persecution.
Yeah, you're right.
More persecution in the last 100 years of Christians
We've
than
gotten
the
soft and lazy.
than the 2,000 years before that, right?
Yeah,
1,900 years before that. It's the Western Christians who are saying, we don't want persecution to come.
Yeah.
But it's already here. What you're saying is you don't want to suffer through it. What you're saying is like, I don't want to have to go through that. I don't know how to say this soft, so I'm not going to. That's a weak mind.
Yes.
That's
agreed.
and what I mean by weak mind is your hope is not set on Jesus.
Right.
That's what the problem is like you're so influenced by all this other crap in the world that you're weak of mind. In other words, your mind is not set on things above. You're not being transformed by the renewing of your mind and thinking differently, and you're weak because your hope's not set on Jesus. That's the problem. The anxiety, like if you talk to an actual counselor, an actual psychologist, they might medicate somebody for anxiety or depression, but a good one will say, now we're going to do some counseling to help you think different. They will all tell you the problem's not the chemical imbalance. The problem is the way you think.
Right.
And that's what's causing the chemical imbalance. And everybody's like, I just want to be medicated. No, you have to change the way, if you want to not be depressed or not anxious, it literally is changing the way you think. And why do we think it's not that way in other parts of life?
Yeah.
So that's what drives me nuts about this whole thing is people in general I get, but like Christians, we're just like, we're letting someone spoon feed us this BS. And we're like, I'm just going to watch my phone and let the world influence me that way. And again, I think it's a wisdom thing, not a moral thing. I'm going to reiterate that.
Yeah.
But you're an idiot if you're letting your perspective on life be shaped by the enemy, because I do think that Satan's behind all of it, instead of being shaped by Jesus. Again, I'm not saying get off of social media. What I'm saying is like, figure out a way to not be influenced by that.
Right.
Did y'all see the video of the dude? Someone posted, it was like, this is probably the Antichrist. And it's like a dude who's like, he has a Christian background and a Muslim background. He's saying like, he's all these different things. It's kind of freaky. But I'm like, nah, that's too on the nose. This is my opinion. I'm like, nah, it's not going to be that. It's like too, like it's too, I think it's going to be somebody sneaky. Like you're not going to know till it comes. You know what? I could give a crap about the Antichrist. You know what happens to him?
Yeah.
He gets thrown in the lake of fire.
Yep.
Okay. You got your small window of fame. Great. So what am I afraid of? And it'll happen to me probably, but they'll cut my head off because I'm not going to renounce Jesus, or I'll be proclaiming Jesus when they say stop. Okay. What, like a few minutes of pain?
Yeah.
Maybe. Like I've heard stories of, okay, let's just say that John Huss was actually singing when he was burning. Like, I have a feeling there have been times when people have suffered persecution like that and been killed and probably not felt the same pain that you would normally feel. Maybe God's being gracious in that.
Yeah.
Like, what I'm saying is I don't care because I know we win.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if my hope's set on Jesus, why am I so anxious about the other stuff? Why don't I let that be something that spurs me on to go, hey, I want to proclaim the gospel more to more people so more people can hear the gospel. Anyways, it drives me nuts that we sit back on the couch and we're like, oh my gosh, the world's on fire. The world has always been on fire since Genesis 3. Like, quit complaining, you pansies.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a little too on the nose, but
No,
Well, and
I like it.
it just starts to piss me off.
Yeah.
And as far as like being controlled by short videos and the media and different things, just we've touched on it a couple of times, but we are called as believers to engage with God, to like spend time with the Lord, to spend time in prayer and study and seeking his face. And that's not going to happen in 3-second bites. And so if you've trained yourself that I can't be satisfied unless I'm getting the information that quickly,
That's a good point.
It's really going to hinder your ability to rightly know and enjoy Jesus.
Yeah.
That's a great point. Yeah, because people are probably really uncomfortable just sitting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, what if you just sat? What if you found a corner somewhere, a nice spot, and you just sat
Yeah.
and just talk to God?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm not even talking about doing a Bible study. what if you just sat? And
Yeah.
like, could people do that now?
Very seldom. Yeah.
Or the beach. Like, could you sit at the beach or in the
Mhm.
mountains and just sit and go?
Yeah.
Like, how long would you sit? 3 minutes?
A few weeks ago, Michelle and I were in San Antonio for her birthday,
Mhm.
and we like to people watch, and so we got some Chick-fil-A teas and sat there at the shops at La Cantera, and we ended up sitting there for 2 hours. And what I do is I make up silly stories about all the people who are passing by and different things. You know, we're trying to decide if people match as a couple, and you're like, how did they end up together? Or, you know, oh yeah, that's a perfect looking couple. Or Michelle's like, I think those kids are on their first date. Look how nervous they are. You know, like, so we're making up all these backstories and stuff, and we just sat there for 2 hours. And then like I was like, hey, you ready for dinner? And we were like, yeah. And so, but to your point, that was super rare. Like those kinds of moments where you just, you know, I don't know, I'll put it this way. I think it's important that we as people have something in our life that requires 45 minutes to an hour of our time on the regular, so that we don't lose the discipline, okay, I understand what you mean by saying it's not the inability, but we train ourselves away from being able to be effective at that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's important for us to have something in our life that requires 45 minutes to an hour. And I'm not talking the Netflix show.
Can we just say a longer time frame?
Yeah.
Instead of 45 minutes to an hour, because I don't want people to get locked in on the like.
Not a standard. Not trying to set a standard. But
this is the person who likes structure, saying 45 minutes to an hour because that's what works.
Yeah.
In structure. I'm just saying, like, I think that.
Yeah.
I just don't want people to be like, well, it was 44. It doesn't count.
Well, okay, but for some people, like, it's going to take you maybe 15 to 20 minutes to go walk a mile. So get the family out and go walk.
Mm-hmm.
Great idea.
You know what I mean? And so you're like, but do something that requires time
and probably activity.
Yeah. And
like, I don't mean like,
or
what I mean is like, I think you could sit and read as an activity. You know what I'm saying by activity? I don't mean like
get
like
your fishing pole and go to the lake for a little while.
Yes.
You know, like, but do something that requires you to not be connected to anything digital.
It's starting to make me realize that I think the phrase connected to something digital is actually intended to make us dependent on something other than ourselves.
Yeah.
Or the people around us. I think that's
you said earlier that people, my generation, right? They just believe the stuff, right? So people in their late 50s, late 60s, they just believe whatever they see. Whatever they see. They've become dependent upon something outside themselves.
Yeah.
But we would say as pastors and followers of Christ, you should be dependent upon something other than yourself. You should be dependent upon Christ.
Sure.
And what the media is doing is telling you be dependent upon us. Like, look at what we're giving you, look at what we're offering you. And I think what it's doing is it's replacing a dependency upon Christ for a dependency upon this.
Yeah, because that's the easy fix, is to not find your dependency on those things. Like, if my dependency rests in Jesus, then that's also where I'm spending effort and time and energy. Yeah. Because that's where my dependency lies.
Sure. And it's super easy, unfortunately, to spend 2 hours watching reels. Like these 2-minute reels or 1-minute reels, and all of a sudden it's been 2 hours and you're like, what the heck just happened? And look, if you're sick and you're sitting on the toilet and you have explosive diarrhea, then okay, you know.
What if it's not explosive? Is it still okay?
Yeah, if it's just you're really backed up, you're sitting
Nothing's exploding out of there.
Nothing's exploding. You're just working on it.
Yeah,
trying to avoid a hemorrhoid.
I've wondered too if like people are learning less right now. Let me rephrase that. Let me say it better. Are spending less time learning.
Oh, 100%.
And a part of it, I think, is that you're kind of spoon-fed. Maybe this is what you're talking about with the AI stuff, is like the availability of information is there.
Yeah.
And I feel like people are spending less time learning. Here's one of the benefits of the technology we have now is that it's easier to learn. Sorry, it's not true. It's quicker. It's quicker to learn. And the opportunity is quicker for.
Well, everything's more accessible. I mean, in high school, when I was working on a paper, I either had to have my mom drop me off at the library downtown or drop me off at my grandmother's so I could use her encyclopedia.
Yeah.
You know, like we have access to so much information now, some of which is good, but we also have access to so much misinformation now.
Yeah.
And so,
well, I think I just wonder what I mean by learning is like I feel like people are less driven for things.
I agree.
There was the other night.
It requires work.
Con Air was on TV. You know what I'm talking? Have you ever seen that?
I've never seen it, but I know what the movie is.
Nicolas Cage movie, and I forget the dude's name. One of the actors. He's like this like crazy psychopath killer, like mass murderer, who's sitting on the plane with Nicolas Cage and this other dude, and they're having a conversation, and this psychopath is telling Nicolas Cage like some stuff, and Nicolas Cage is like, "Shut up! Don't talk to me. You're a psychopath. You're crazy. You're insane. I don't want to hear your insanity." And this dude goes, "Insanity? That's interesting." He goes, "Maybe insanity is working 50 hours a week in a cubicle until you retire, and then and then trying to spend your time as long as you can to stay out of the nursing home where they like spoon feed you every day." He goes, "Maybe that's insanity." And I'm like, I mean, that was the 90s. I'm sure I listened to that in the 90s, but it didn't click when I'm a teenager. But I'm like, he's onto something there, right?
Sure.
Like, is that what, this is kind of what Piper was talking about back in the day when he did the, what was it, like, Don't Waste Your Life or something like that?
Yeah,
like,
don't retire so you can just collect seashells on the seashore.
I think people are doing this. It's like, they're just like, I just want to be content.
Yeah.
Like, so you can sit on the couch and watch reels for the rest of your life? Like, are we not pushing for something? Even as believers, are we not? You just mentioned to us, Ryan, driving out here this morning that the jiu-jitsu is about to start doing some Jesus stuff here, like a kind of like a club thing that started in Dallas. And here's jiu-jitsu that is not just jiu-jitsu now. It's you're using the venue of jiu-jitsu now to integrate the gospel. And integrate at the least encouragement for the other believers that are in jiu-jitsu. It's the same thing we're doing in disc. Like in disc golf, it's where is that in our life? Like where is that push? Are we literally just surviving just to get by? Like literally, I think you've said it recently on a podcast, Ryan. Like if I live a week as a believer, and then die, like is that like I had less value than if I lived 50 years as a believer and didn't do anything? Like it's like what does that time look like? What are you doing in that amount of time? And it's just hitting me lately. Like for me personally, to being transparent, like how much time have I wasted? How much energy have I not put into things that I could have because I'm just wasting away? And I don't even watch reels. I've never watched, like I've never sat down and I've never watched shorts. I've never done like the Instagram reel thing. And it's not because I'm like, oh, I've never done that stuff. It's just like I was never. I'm not that kind of learner. I'm not interested in that. Now I'll watch like I listen to a lot of long form podcasts, long form YouTube videos, but like it just wasn't interesting to me. I'm just more I'm more driven probably than most people in that regards.
That's one of those things I feel like that's been a part of conditioning for culture for a long time, is that like the goal is to do nothing. So like the goal is to finish your workday so that you can go home and do nothing. Your goal is to retire so you can finally do nothing. Like the whole goal seems to just we're working for the weekend so I can do nothing. Like we're constantly doing these things for the sake of rest or whatever. And there's plenty of friends that I remember
it's not rest.
Like how would you phrase it? Just like shutting off or like being inactive.
Yeah, there's got to be another word because I think rest is fine.
That's true. But you don't want to demonize rest.
I'm with you though. I'm with you.
And so like I remember being a kid, like growing up, and like which is funny. This is like side note for me as well. Like there was a lot of really influential media for me that wanted to push past the norm, but now this is still made by the same machine that's pumping out the other media. So I'm like, well, what are you doing here? What's this for? I think about like V for Vendetta or like Fight Club or like these movies that are like pushing against the system, but then you're like, oh crap, this came from the system. What do they want? But I remember like the warnings of like the cubicle life, the Office Space movies, even the beginning of the Matrix, like how that's a great example. Discussed. And then I see so many of my friends go into jobs, and for me, like I knew my calling into ministry, and so jobs were just jobs. Like this is just I'm working at Hastings to pay my bills while I'm working towards this. I'm working at the bank for that reason. I'm detailing cars. It was never like this is a career, and that's not to look down on people who do those things as a career. But I have a handful of friends who just got a job when they were 16. It's just, well, I have this job. and there's not a drive there. I don't really care to go up or down. It's just,
motivation.
It pays the bills. I still do these things. And it's just like part of me, I think there's an area of it where it can be fine. Like, sure, whatever. I'm not going to judge you for that. But then I think there's an area where this is how you've been trained to live, is just don't care. Don't make friends at work. Don't make friends at home. Just go there, make your money, go home, sit down, get up tomorrow, make your money, hope they put the right money in your 401k so that when you retire, you can be done. And it's just this inactive life, right? This very mundane life of just doing whatever you're told and whenever you're told to do it. And there's a lot of things that go back, like looking back at the influence on culture. One of the big ones is like, I forget exactly the terminology, but like what's the Industrial Revolution. And so around the Industrial Revolution began a lot of the way we see school systems now, and the way you train workers, right? So you train the people to sit down, shut up, do what you're told. And now you mix that for generations, you mix that now in with some of the ways that we're being trained as a culture in regards to social media, in regards to video editing and those types of things. And we get this conversation we're having now, right?
I wish people were just at least aware of it.
Exactly.
That's kind of my heart in this, is like, I just want people to be aware that this is a reality. Like, do with it what you will. It's not a moral issue. It's a wisdom issue. But like, I think you should be aware that this is happening.
Yeah.
Did you know, here's another example of this. Did you know that credit card companies spend, I forget how much more, something like 10 times more on advertising a year than professional sports teams?
Wow.
Goodness.
And it's something insane, like $7 to $10 billion a year they spend on advertising.
Wow. The
only reason you'd spend that money is if you're getting the return.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So as a matter of influence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does someone ever stop and think like, oh, maybe the reason I spend the way I do is because I've given into this system?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's part of it too. It's
Yep.
like, it's shown in how we spend.
Yeah.
Our lack of drive and discipline is shown by how we spend.
Oh
Yep.
yeah. Well, there's a verse in Proverbs that talks about like the fool spends everything on pleasure and loves to drink wine and eat honey. You know, like basically the idea of like they always have to have the best. They always have to have more, right? And that goes back to the other conversation that you're having with us behind the scenes with the book you're listening to. But like, if they can make you indebted, then they control you.
Yeah.
Right.
So, hey, here's another thing to be excited about. So I was looking up the quote. There's a couple of them, but I was looking up a quote based on something you said a second ago, just about being entertained and different things. So the quote is, bread and circuses. As long as the people have bread and circuses, you know, you can get away with anything.
Yep.
They did it with, it's exactly why they did the Colosseum in Rome.
Yeah.
Is they realized that was the way they were able to control the masses.
Sure.
It's exactly the same premise.
Yep.
That's happening now.
Yep.
They just are able to deliver it to us without having to go to the effort of the Colosseum. It just happens on our devices.
Well, and now what's really funny is, and I know we're running out of time, but now we admire these people who make these 30-second videos, and like my boys are like, man, they have so much money and they're not a lot older than me and they can do this and they can do that. And they're not doing anything. They're just making content that happens to tickle a certain part of your fancy, you know, and you're like, hey, I love this thing. And they're not doing anything, you know, it's not actually accomplishing anything. It's entertainment. That's all it is.
Yeah. Or it can be.
Yeah. I mean, there are people who do good, I think, with social media, but like,
or even in that regards, it's like, if I know this makes me money, but I have a goal of something else, like, you know, I'm not gonna tell the dude who does the lease to own car lot, like, you're wrong. Cause I actually knew a guy, he died a few years ago, but had one of those in town. And one of the things he told me that just kind of changed my perspective on that. He said, there are a lot of people that come here and he tried to treat people really well.
Yeah, he was super nice.
A lot of people that come here that can't get vehicles other places.
Yeah.
And that makes sense, right? So, but there are also people who own those car dealerships that are trying to sell those cars to people they know can't pay.
Yeah.
So that they can get the car back and take all their money. It's like, like it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like
scam.
It can be used nefariously and it can be used in a beneficial way, right? So that's why I think it's a wisdom thing, not a moral thing. I think you've got to be aware that this is happening.
Yeah.
And I think as believers, for us to be more effective, we've got to be aware of those conniving things that the enemy is doing to keep us from being people that are effective for the gospel.
Yeah. And well, we need to be educated. We need to be people who are continuing to be educated.
And as a side note, last thing, I think you're happier.
Oh, absolutely.
I think you're happier. Like, I bet if you went out and did something, like if you weren't on your device and you went out and fished like those kind of things, like you will find, it's crazy how much sunlight will make you happy.
Right.
I'm not talking about sunburn, but like, you know what I mean? Just being outside, that's not even my opinion. Like that's, there's research on that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think to encourage, I think I said something similar. One of us said something similar in the education episode, but like having a heart to honor and glorify the Lord and keeping our mind focused on him and like understanding that our lives are now spent for his glory. Our lives are now meant to honor him. And there's an intentionality behind it. There's an activeness behind it, right? There's a pursuit in learning and in growth. There's a pursuit in taking care of ourselves and the ones around us. Like there's something deeper than just what the world says, right? So we're not believing whatever the lie may be. We're not believing that. We're just embracing truth and walking in who we are in Christ. And I think that as simple as it is, there's unbelievable joy and peace in the midst of that and walking out those things. So to encourage you guys, and what's funny is we pump this media out on all those platforms that we discussed as well, but like for you guys through Spotify, through YouTube, however you are taking in the podcast, we thank you guys for being a part of the Simpler community, and we'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Like we are progressing every single day with how, like I remember even talking with people when I got into social media marketing 12 years ago, and a few years ago I was asking about like, well, how do you stay on? A friend of mine was like really was deep into it, had a really solid career, and I was like, well, how do you like stay on top of all the trends and all the algorithms? He goes, I just stopped. Like the algorithm is changing at least weekly, if not like daily. And he said that we used to be able to kind of like trick the system and know like, well, these are the trends and these are these things, but the thing is just rapidly progressing. And so now you mix in all of the things with AI on almost every single device. There's just so many changes that are happening all the time, the way that it's adapting, the way that it's learning. And some of these resources can be used for great things, but also it can be very overwhelming. And so we want to encourage you guys to take note of those things. The language that I use with our young adults and with our youth is like, as we're approaching certain aspects of life, or may it be certain aspects of teaching or Bible reading or whatever it may be, there is, let's establish like a certain set of non-negotiables, right? Like there's and I know we can debate on the terminology if we want to, but like, it's, if you're a believer, it's not negotiable that your life is now in the hands of Christ, that he has your mind. So like your identity rests in him. And so if we are partaking in certain media or certain things that are trying to shape our identity out of that, then no, we hold to the non-negotiable, right? We hold to the thing that is true. And so if that's something in your life that you need encouragement and want to be pushed in, like we'd love to hear from you guys. There's many ways you can get a hold of us to share your thoughts on this episode, or just on us on Simpler in general. You can reach out to us through any sort of review. You can leave a review on Spotify or on different podcast avenues. You can get a hold of us through Instagram, through Facebook. We would love to hear from you. And we would love to be able to continue the conversation. Like we said, this is the fifth Tuesday, and so we didn't have a simpler view for today. We're just diving into it, but I think that still within our hearts and within our understanding of who we are as believers, we want to center everything we do on Christ. Yeah. How can we honor Christ in this life with the resources we have, with the tools we have, the technology we have? How can we honor Christ if we need to cut ourselves off from it, or if we use it as a tool, whatever? Just like Micah had stressed continuously, this is a wisdom issue, not a moral issue. And so, give us your thoughts, give us your debates, give us your leanings. We'd love to hear from you. As always, every single week we are at the Garden Audio where Stephen records. Give him a big shout out, big thank you wherever you are as well. Go over to YouTube if you're not already there. Search for Simpler Pod, all one word. Find our channel and hit the subscribe button. We're trying to boost that subscriber count so we can take advantage of some of the AdSense revenue that is through YouTube. And hey, as always, keep Christ as core. What could be simpler than that? We'll catch y'all next week. Bye.